What if Peter Bethenfalvy, instead of saying, I'm going to give, $200 to Galen Weston, what if he had stood up on Fall Economic Statement Day and said, okay, we're going to take $1 billion, and I don't know if that would be the number, but we're going to give $1 billion in $200 checks to people who really need it. And then we're going to take $2 billion and we're going to sit down with municipalities and we're going to look at the options. So there are shelters. Shelters are an option. Winter's coming. Something's got to happen. We're going to look at where shelters make sense. I don't know in Hamilton whether there's a need for, some of the existing shelters to have more support. We're going to look at where we can get housing, where there's housing that has started, where we can speed that up, expedite it, and get people into housing that works. We're going to work with the people who do tiny house neighborhoods. There's one in Waterloo that is, it's garden sheds. There's one ready to go in Toronto. I don't think they've got the funding yet. And those are like shelters, except people have a place to go where they can lock the door. And there are also the supports that you would get in a shelter. So there are wellness checks, and there's food provided, and there's clothing support, that kind of thing. So there's a basket of things that could be done. And I really think, you say there's no currency in terms of, or political will in terms of getting this done. But I really believe, Dave, that if the finance minister had stood up and, we're gonna put in place this Marshall Plan, here are the things that we're going to look at, here are the people who are going to lead it, and within 6 weeks we're going to have a plan. I don't know whether that's the time, but that's when it's going to start to get cold. So I think there's a lot that could have been done, and it could have been done with some of that money that's going into Galen Weston's hand.
Yeah, Tim, it becomes this whole, it's easy to sort of stand there, and I've had this conversation with the mayors. I mean, you're right. In many cases, the municipalities get in their own way on these things. So, where does that sit? I mean, it's easy to say, the province is going to step in because bike lanes are a problem for congestion. Why aren't they being more assertive on this file?
Because they don't care.
I think it's coming. Reading tea leaves, I think it is. I think it is coming. I'm smiling. It's funny how Galen Weston, the Weston family, and Loblaw have become the Darth Vaders in the province of Ontario.
He says he's a billionaire. He's a stand-in for the billionaires who are going to get $200. That's the only reason I'm using his name.
Poor Loblaw has taken a shit kicking over the last couple of years, right? Like Tim.
Just because he wears a sweater doesn't make him a nice guy.
He's a super villain.
I could use your name, Tim, or you probably don't.
Oh man, I wish I was in that wealth class. I need the $200. You kidding me? So I think it's coming, Dave. I think this has emerged enough as an issue. Look, when I was CEO of the Ontario Real Estate Association, we did a survey in Belleville. We did some in London. And the major issue that came up was actually homelessness and public safety and fear of crime.